Let's fix a Google Merchant Center misrepresentation suspension. And this is one of the most common types of suspensions for merchant centers. From the data that we have of businesses who hire us to help fix their suspensions, at least 90% of those suspensions are misrepresentation. So by far the number one reason for suspensions. Now, when I say number one reason, it's a little bit misleading because there are a lot of different options that are under the umbrella of misrepresentation. And we'll dig into that as part of this video to hopefully give you some fuel, some information that can help fix your misrepresentation suspension. And if you don't know who I am, my name is John from Stub Group. We are the number one resource in the world for fixing Google suspensions and helping advertisers comply with Google's policies. So let's dig in. Misrepresentation suspension on your merchant center. Again, this is a wide policy, kind of an umbrella policy, that could mean that Google thinks there's something wrong with your business model. It could mean there's something mismatched between the information you have in your merchant center and what's on your website. It could mean your website's missing information Google wants to see. There are a lot of options. So I'm going to walk you through 4 things to look at as part of your audit to try and figure out what is wrong and what needs to be fixed before you appeal the suspension with Google. So the first thing to look at in your Merchant Center account is your Google Merchant Center settings. And I would include in this what's on your business information tab, as well as your return policies, shipping policies, things like that. So essentially go through every available page and step in your Merchant Center and make sure that everything is correct and filled out as possible. So for example, on the business information tab, this is where you'd have your address, your business name, a link to your contact us page, phone number, things like that. Very often when businesses hire us to fix a problem for them, we'll look at this and we'll identify, hey, there's missing information here or wrong information. Maybe the physical address there doesn't match what's on the website, or the link to the contact page there is to a different version of the contact page than what's on the website, navigable from the header, things like that. So very often we'll find issues there, or we'll find issues in places like the shipping policy and return policy, where there's either just missing information or the information does not match what's on the website. Another thing we often see is, for example, is a website might have particular information on the shipping policy page on the website, but then there might be an FAQ page on the website that has different information, like a different shipping time or things like that. And inconsistencies like that are a problem as well. So the first thing to look at in your Merchant Center is all of those settings, make sure everything is accurate and as filled out as comprehensively as possible. The second thing to look at is the quality of the actual product data in your Merchant Center. So if there are problems with that data, if you are, for example, sending incorrect GTIN numbers to Google, or if you are using, let's say, maybe promotional text in the titles of your products, or they are incorrectly categorized, there's all sorts of things that could be wrong with the quality of the product's data, and that may or may not have caused a suspension. But even if it didn't cause a suspension, it could make it less likely that Google will reverse the suspension when you appeal it if there are still problems there, because Google wants to be confident that the quality of the data and therefore the quality of the ads they're going to serve on your behalf is high. So go through that, fix problems, get rid of products that shouldn't be there, and clean it all up to be as accurate as possible. The next thing to look at is your website itself. And this is where you're going to spend a lot of time, most likely, because almost every time that someone, again, hires us to help fix a suspension, we find issues with the website that are likely contributing to the cause of the suspension. So this could be everything from missing important pages, like you need to have a contact page, you need to have an about page, you need to have privacy policy, things like that, to issues with the content on the website. You could have placeholder text that's left over that you never removed. You could have inconsistent pricing on your product pages that doesn't match up with what's in the Google Merchant Center. You could have functionality problems where like people can't add a product to your cart from their phone because you have some kind of a pop-up that is preventing them from clicking the button. Those are all examples of real things that we've seen that we've been able to help clients fix. And there are so many more issues. So you need to really focus on your website. For example, Shopify websites, which is a lot of the websites out there in the e-commerce space, will very often find placeholder text in some of the policy pages, sometimes even a wrong business name when someone copied a privacy policy from a different website and never fixed it. We'll see instances where the policies that show up in the checkout process don't match the policies that you look at that you can get to like from the footer of the website. All sorts of issues like that. Could be things like handling fees that are added during the checkout process, which is against Google's policies, and just on and on. So you got to really focus on your website. And what we do is we do a very very detailed audit, looking through the entire website, looking for inconsistencies, things that are missing, things that need to be worded better, more information that needs to be added, etc., to really create a very solid website that Google's going to look at and say, yes, this is legit. This should be a part of Google's advertising ecosystem. And then the fourth thing to look at is your digital footprint, really your online reputation. This is also something that Google pays a lot of attention to. And it's especially tricky for newer businesses that don't have much history, because when Google goes and searches for you, if they don't see much history, it's a red flag, because they aren't sure whether or not you're a legit advertiser that's actually going to be able to deliver on what you're selling. And so the more you can do to claim your profile in different review sites, to get real reviews from customers you've worked with, and then respond to those reviews in a professional manner, whether those are positive or negative reviews, you want to respond and say, thanks for your review, etc., etc. You can do things like claiming your business in the Better Business Bureau, basically everything you can do to just create more of a footprint for your website and show that you are legitimate, that you have a presence, and that customers are having a good experience working with you. The more you can do that, the better. And that's going to help your case with Google. And that's not to say that a brand new business can't get their merchant center fixed and unsuspended, but definitely it's harder than a business that has that build up online history, unless that history is negative, in which case there's other issues you've got to work through. So those are all really important steps. Again, first of all, Merchant Center settings, looking through that, looking at the data quality in your product feed in Google Merchant Center, looking at your website, and then looking at your digital footprint. Those are the 4 steps to try and fix everything that could have caused a suspension, as well as things that could prevent Google from accepting your appeal. And then once everything is as picture perfect as possible, then you can move forward with, in your Merchant Center, saying that you disagree with Google's decision and requesting a review of your suspension. And if that sounds like a lot and you don't want to spend your time on it, you're not sure exactly where to go from here, we'd love to help. Reach out through stubgroup.com and we'd love to get you back online with Google.